It is the JR Sport Brief Show here with you on the Infinity Sports Network, coast.
It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. Catch all your in-depth sports analysis with the best. The hottest sports show in the evening is Centex Primetime, hosted by Jalen, Gillis.
Act like y'all.
Weekdays 5 to 7. This is the Central Texas #1 leader in sports. Centex Sports Network.
That's right, sports fans. We can talk about sports.
And Infinity Sports.
Holy what is that?
It's time to get in the game.
Do you know what time it is?
Tune in to Primetime Sports Talk with Jalen Gillis.
To me, you are nothing.
Your go-to source for breaking sports news in Central Texas and exclusive Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Well, start it up. Let's go.
Catch us Monday through Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday, and welcome back into Centex Sports Network and to Infinity Sports Radio, to Centex Primetime. I am your host, Jalen Gillis, as we get ready to talk you through the primetime topics in sports, not only in Central Texas, but from all around the nation. Folks, it is a feel-good Friday here today. Weather feels good outside, not too hot. Definitely not too cold outside. Hope everybody's having a great day. Some of you just getting off work, getting ready to head to your Friday night football games. As we know, it is Friday Night Lights here in Central Texas and all over Texas and all over the nation as well. As we get ready to talk about some of these games, we'll talk about some high school football a little bit later in hour number 2 as we lead you in to the La Vega pregame show. Also, we will bring you in and talk about some NFL. We'll talk a little bit of college as well. So we'll touch a few different topics as we move throughout today's show. Like I said, a feel-good Friday. For everyone listening with us, I want to thank you. Or if you're watching with us, not only today, but all week with us, if we've been able to dive through these different topics so far this week. Had a multitude of guests on. We had Cedric Eigerhart on yesterday, the La Vega play-by-play man. He was on yesterday. We'll play some of the interview we had with him. We'll play some of the interview we had with him a little bit later in the show. Got a chance to talk with Wayne Walker this week. Got a chance to talk with Rocky Miller. And I've got Kyrell Gibson on with me today as well, as we're going to talk about one of his favorite topics in the Dallas Cowboys as they got a win last night. Kyrell, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Yeah, I know. You see, it sounds like you got a little pep in your step this time, man. Cowboys win. It's a little different than the last couple of weeks calling on here talking about the Cowboys. But like I said, they got a win last night, 20-15 over the Giants. We'll talk about that, and we'll go through some of the rest of these games. A good slate of games this coming up weekend in college football and high school football, and we'll round it off with a good NFL Sunday as well. But we will start last night from the Meadowlands in New Jersey as the Dallas Cowboys flew up to New York to take on the New York Giants. Both of these teams came into this game 1-2. Cowboys were able to get a win last night. They finally get back into the win column after winning their first game at the beginning of the season against the Cleveland Browns. Jump back into the win column on a short week, taking on the New York Giants. So this was a low-scoring game, back and forth somewhat. The Giants came out, kicked a field goal. I think the Cowboys started off with a field goal before they were able to score a couple times. The Giants started with a field goal, and Dallas was able to score twice, back-to-back touchdowns. Giants pretty much just kicked field goals the entire night, no touchdowns. The field goal kicker earned his money last night. So did the Cowboys field goal kicker, as he kicked another crazy kicker, and we'll talk about him. I mean, he's got to be considered the best kicker in the league right now, kicking multiple 60-yarders this season already, and it's only week 4. So shout out to Aubrey doing this thing out there for the kicker. But this team, like I said, Dallas Cowboys able to come out successful. Didn't have to do too much. Dak only threw 27 passes, 22 for 27, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, only got sacked once, 74 QBR. Good outing for him. Rico Dowdle, I don't know if he's stepping up as the number one for the Cowboys now, as their number one back. Still no Dalvin Cook. I'm not sure what's going on with the Dalvin Cook situation. Maybe Kyrell can shed some light onto that. But Rico Dowdle, 11 carries, 46 yards. CD had a 55-yard touchdown, 7 catches, 98 yards. Did what he was supposed to do out there. Ferguson also had 7 catches for 49 yards in that game. In week 1, or for the New York Giants, they come out 29 for 40. Daniel Jones goes 29 for 40, 281 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick. Didn't play absolutely horrible, but did not play good and at any point, honestly. Malik Neighbors shined like we knew he would. 12 catches, 115 yards, 15 targets, though. Wan'Dale Robinson, 11 catches, 71 yards. I knew I should have picked him on my parlay last night, but I didn't. I thought maybe they would try to just get the ball to Malik and get a couple passes out to Devin Singletary. But Wan'Dale Robinson, 71 yards on 11 catches, 14 targets. So Daniel Jones only threw the 2 guys out there. I mean, this game was lackluster. This game was lackluster, pretty bland, pretty vanilla. Nothing spectacular really happened in this game for either team. The New York Giants, I mean, they lost by 5, so they covered. The spread was 5.5 last night when we were getting off the show. So they covered. For those of you that listened to me and said take the points on the Giants, the spread was 5.5. They ended up covering. They lose by 5. No touchdowns. Daniel Jones, another bland performance to say the least. Nothing really spectacular out of the Cowboys either. They did what they were supposed to, scoring those 2 touchdowns in the first half. Second half, couldn't really get the offense going, but they didn't need to. The defense didn't give up that many gashing plays or anything like that. Malik Neighbors is a dog, but he can only take you so far. And then after he got hurt, it was pretty much curtains for the Giants. Slayton got open on that pick that Daniel Jones threw. Slayton got open, and Daniel Jones underthrew the ball by like 15 yards. I mean, it was pretty bad. That was a terrible underthrow, and you definitely can't underthrow around probably the most ball-hawking DB in the league in Trayvon Diggs. So Diggs was able to take advantage on that one. I think that one ended up coming back. But Daniel Jones, nothing spectacular, nothing huge in this game, nothing crazy in this game at all. Cowboys end up getting the win. I mean, there wasn't much to say around that. So, Kyrie, I'll let you comment on this, man. What happened in this game last night? Cowboys were successful. This is a good win for your team.
Man, I don't really know what to make of last night, man. There wasn't a whole lot of positives. Quarterback looked good. CD bounced back, but this offense still looks archaic and simple. There's not too much creativity flowing. Our rookie lineman is starting to hurt us. He's getting beat by the same move over and over again. But I'm not going to we won, so I'm not going to harp on the negatives. Like, hopefully those guys get identified and, at practice about those mistakes they're making. But Mozzie Smith is the player of the game, man. I've been watching this dude 2 years. That was the first game I've seen him get I've seen him actually reset the line of scrimmage. So that's the best game of Mozzie Smith's career to this point, So big ups to him. Overshown got his increase in snaps again, so he looked good out there. Guy's a top tackler. He's a little undersized, but he's getting to the ball. So that was exciting to see. The Dalvin Cook situation is now we can kind of furrow our brows at that, because you had two weeks back to back where your running game didn't necessarily perform and he doesn't get moved up. Many of us thought that, he'd be getting moved up this Thursday. So, if you're not going to use him, why just have him stashed away in your practice squad? I believe that there's going to be some rumblings about that coming up.
Yeah.
And then last of all, man, was that 5.5 spread. They set it up so perfectly. Brandon Aubrey, who hasn't missed from beyond 50 yards ever, 16 for 6. Well, it was 16 for 16 and on the kick to make it a 8-point game, he whiffs it. I mean, he go wide right. So
man, he kicking 60s.
I know a lot.
Y'all got to leave him alone. He gonna miss one of them every now and then. He kicking 60s.
Right, man. But just the fact that affected the spread, I know that was a bad beat for a lot of people, man.
Oh, terrible.
They were thinking like, oh yeah, it's money in the bag. Cowboys covered a -5.5, or whichever way you took it. But yeah, man. So nothing really to say. Dak is. Oh man, he needs to work on a little bit of accuracy. It seems like when he's have to get off kilter a lot, he's putting these balls in bad spots. But he was accurate for most of the game on short throws.
He was.
I just want to see him keep his balance a little bit better and deliver some of those throws that would have been conversions on third down. It's a win, man. We definitely don't look like the worst team in the league, but we're not with that top cream. We're probably right where the rest of the middle of the pack guys. They're looking like a really 8-8, 7-9. One of those teams. I forget how many games they play. They change it every year. Now. So yeah, whichever one's middle of a 500 team or slightly above or slightly below. But I'm not seeing. I'm happy about the individual performances from guys that I was looking to perform, but as a team, as an offensive line, the running back room, really not too impressed.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, there just wasn't a lot to take away from this. Yes, the Cowboys did what they're supposed to do, but they didn't do anything that makes you feel like, man, if they play like this, we'll beat this team, or we'll beat this team, we'll beat the Lions, we'll beat the Niners, we'll beat the Vikings. It doesn't make you feel like that. I'm glad. I mean, it is good that they got a win and they took care of business against the team that they were supposed to. Now, it's not good that you leave that game a little bit nicked up with Micah Parsons. We saw him leaving, limping off the field. I did see him post game. He was limping, going back to the team bus, but he didn't have any crutches and he wasn't anybody helping him. So that's a good sign in itself. DeMarcus Lawrence got nicked up in that game as well. I think Malik Neighbors got hurt on the Giants side. So a few injuries happened, and that's another conversation to revisit later about these Thursday night games. We've heard players talk about how wearing that is on their health anyways. But so some players get nicked up in that game. But like you said, they took care of business. They won the game. They did what you were supposed to do. They won the game. You get back in the win column. That's the most important part. You get almost a little mini bye week within this with a 10-day break before you take on your next game. But they've got a tough road schedule ahead of them. They're going to be at Pittsburgh on Sunday night next week. Then right after that, they're coming back home, but they got the Lions. Then right after that, they're going back on the road. They got the Niners and the Falcons on the road before they come back home against the Eagles and the Texans. So, Cowboys really got like a gauntlet of a schedule when you look at these next few weeks, especially these next 5 weeks ahead of them. Man, it's some tough games. Some tough games coming in this before you finally get to the Commanders, and we don't know what they're going to be by the time you finally get to Washington. So, tough schedule ahead of the Dallas Cowboys. But after this win last night for them, before we keep talking about the Cowboys, well, I'll stay on the Cowboys first. Do the Cowboys have enough? Do they have enough to be able to make a playoff run? Do they have enough to be able to compete? I think it's a little bit far-fetched at this point to say compete for an NFC title. But do they have enough to get to the playoffs? Do they have enough to get to the second round of the playoffs? With this team, you paid your guys and you made your stances. They paid Dak. They paid CD. They got this offense has got to be able to perform. CD's doing what he's supposed to do. Dak did what he was supposed to do last night. But this offense has got to be able to perform in order for them to even get to the playoffs, especially with that schedule that I just laid out that they have over the next 6 weeks. It's going to be tough. That's a tough schedule, possibly the toughest in the league. I'm sure I'll look at the ESPN analytics. They'll be showing it as far as who's got the toughest schedule over the next few weeks. But the Cowboys are right up there as far as the toughest schedule over the next few weeks. So, Kyrell, in your opinion, do they have enough on this team to be able to go to the playoffs, make a run to get to the playoffs? Like I said, winning the NFC might be a little far-fetched, but do they have enough to be able to get to the playoffs and make some noise if they get there?
No, man. No. This is I think they're about where Tampa Bay. I think their ceiling is probably on par with Tampa Bay right now. I still believe we have the best quarterback in the NFC as far as outside of like Matt. I know we always exclude Matthew Stafford, but the Rams are just not. You know, the Rams are bad.
Yeah, they're bad.
So I just can't throw them in there.
I feel.
But so yeah, and outside of that, man, we're backing running back room, C, wide receiver room, B minus. You know, and that, a lot of that is because of CD. That would be a C without CD.
Yeah.
The offensive line is look like a bunch of rookies. You know, I know it's not the whole line, but we got holding calls on BB against Dexter Lawrence. Albeit, but Tyler Guyton, I need to see some progress, man. You're getting beat on the same moves 2 weeks in a row, inside moves. You're getting called, and I get, a lot of those things are like what are rookie things that have to be taught, and adjusted to. But I have to see improvement. The biggest thing to me is the absence or the regression of this, top pass rush. We saw it week 1, but these last 3 weeks, we've really seen this front seven get hemmed up and blocked. Daniel Jones is a reason Neighbors and Robinson both had double-digit catches. Daniel Jones had time. We were not getting there. DeMarcus Lawrence had a win rate percentage of 0. He won no plays, none. So that right there I get DeMarcus Lawrence ended up getting an injury later, but he played for most of that game. He was on the field, so you got to get ridiculed. Overshown looks great, but we're down to our backup corner now on the outside. Not saying Carson, our backup corner, was the answer, but I'm thinking we may get Bland back at week 5 or 6. I want to see what the defense looks like once he's back. But man, this pass rush has been so underwhelming that I think that's what this team is missing. I'm not really seeing a whole lot of blitz. Well, I mean, I'd say that I'm seeing blitzes on run plays, but not passing situations a whole lot. Mm-hmm. I'm interested to see how they alleviate that, because this defense has been set up for the last 3-4 years as secondary that benefits from the pass rush, not the other way around. And the fact, I think that's a whole lot of the issue we're seeing right now. We're not getting any rush. These guys have big plays and then poor tackling. So I want to see this defense kind of enter back into that echelon we experienced for like 2 years, man. Because this looks like a Mike Nolan. Well, before last night, it looked like that Mike Nolan defense, the worst in the history of the NFL. So, yeah, I'm very interested to see how these guys perform. Their injury report is going to be ugly this week. We're going to have a lot of guys that don't practice, and then luckily we got 10 days off, 10 long days because of the Sunday night game. But I still need to see improvement. I don't see us doing anything in the playoffs or beating any playoff team right now. The way we're playing, and it's not horrible, guys. Like, it's not a player issue. We have riches that other teams don't. The problem is number one is the timely penalties that kill drives, and then our pass rush is not what it was. If we had those two things, we're probably 3-1 or under. I'm not gonna say undefeated because the Saints popped us real good, but we'd probably be 3-1 right now because of just conversion rate on these drives.
Yeah, you hit all the points that you had to talk about, man. The underwhelming pass rush is a problem. It's just been underwhelming. That just is what it is. Like you said, this was a team that was really built off that pass rush. As far as defensively, they were able to force so many turnovers because of the way that this pass rush was operating. Now that Dan Quinn is gone, some of his philosophies are gone, and that's being noticed as far as being able to rush the passer. Mike Zimmer, he did a good job in week 1, taking advantage of a bad offensive line in the Cleveland Browns. But, man, since then, this pass rush has not delivered and has not been what you expected it to be. So going forward from here, we talked about the Cowboys and what they have to do. The Giants, man. The Giants, they were bad, and then they win a game, and people start saying, well, maybe they're not that bad. But then they come out here and do this last night and can't even find a way to get in the end zone. Only thing I do like is that they are forcing the ball to Malik Neighbors and giving him opportunities to make plays. But when you see this, and then I don't know what to think of this team. I don't know what to think of. How in the world do you let Saquon Barkley go? Because the rushing game is just, it's terrible. 14 carries for 24 yards. He's averaging a yard a carry, just under 2 yards a carry for Devin Singletary. Daniel Jones has 4 rushes for 3 yards. Outside of that, no one did anything. So I don't see how you let go of a Saquon Barkley when your team is in a position that it's in, but that's why they're the New York Giants. I don't understand a lot of things they do. And you said what?
Jalen, do you understand? Does everybody understand that how badly that situation has gone? All they had to do was sign him and trade him. Look at Daniel Jones. Look at your O-line. They're not horrible.
No.
They're not horrible. Daniel Jones might not be the problem, If you keep
He's part of it, but he ain't all of it.
But he ain't all of it. This dude was hitting them. He was hitting the players yesterday. He was making the throws yesterday to get these guys the ball. He wasn't fumbling the ball. I know the Cowboys pass rush isn't all that, but he hasn't been horrible outside of that first game. The rest of the season, just think if you still had Saquon, or if you had signed him and traded him, So, because you guys are gonna need either a great running back or a great defense. You got to start building one. Because you got your receivers, you got good receivers now. Darius Slayton is a 3. Malik Neighbors, he's going to be a stud. But you just I don't understand. This move looks so bad now, so bad because y'all could have competed if y'all had got something for Saquon, even Saquon,
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand what the thought process was there. You start feeling yourself a little bit too much, and we can get it done when it's just a running back. If it's your best player, man, you got to pay your best player, bro. I don't get it. It's 2 games now in the 4-game season that you haven't scored a touchdown. That's a problem. Daniel Jones did hit some people in the open field yesterday, but he missed some people too. He missed some throws as well. So he's not all of the problem. He is part of the problem, but he's definitely not all of the problem. With Saquon there, honestly, this team will be respectable just because of their D-line or really their front 7. Their front 7 is solid. Their secondary is horrible. Secondary is terrible, but their front 7 is solid. You put a good running back in with that, it's kind of decent. Is it time for them to move on from Daniel Jones, or is it time for them to move on from Brian Daboll, in your opinion? I don't, I've been saying it's time to move on from Daniel Jones, but some people might feel a little bit differently. In your opinion, do you think it's time to move on from Daniel Jones, or is it time to move on from Brian Daboll as a head coach?
I don't know.
It's tough.
If you're gonna replace a quarterback, Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones. I don't want to start that dialogue. I don't think he's Daniel Jones, but I'm seeing in him today a quarterback that is benefiting from a better offensive line and is getting the ball out. Most of the things with Daniel Jones we used to see, it really wasn't about his arm talent, or the way he delivered the ball. It's more so, can you stop turning the ball over when you get hit?
Yeah.
Timely, just poor reads, I guess, and a lot of that has been simplified by adding a kid like Malik Neighbors, a guy, number one, that he can just throw the ball to in one-on-one situations.
Yeah.
He hasn't had that. He's always had guys that are kind of just run-of-the-mill, I guess.
Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah, Wan'Dale Robinson. Guys that if they're one-on-one with a corner, I'm really not feeling that. So, I like how he looks now with the legit number 1 receiver that he can count on and just be like, you know what, forget everything else. This man over here, I'm going to Neighbors, and it's a conversion, So I don't think it's Daboll. I don't think it's Daniel Jones at the moment. I think, look, I'm a big Justin Fields fan, but I'm not going to tell you Justin Fields is way better than Daniel Jones. I get his legs make him more exciting, and he has more potential for big plays.
He's definitely not way better.
Yeah, but they're kind of in the same tier to me.
They are.
They have arms, but they're just not great quarterbacks, like, I guess, mentally. But if you put them in a great situation, right, or a good situation, a good organization, somebody that knows how to set their players up for success, I think you can get that. So that's where the Giants are right now. They made I think the pressure on them is the same thing in Dallas. It's on the GMs, man. It's on that front office, because you let go of Saquon after you upgraded the O-line, and then I don't understand that at all. Like, you have a better O-line this year. Like, look, Saquon Barkley has the Eagles 3-1,
2-1,
right? 2-1. That all those games were won by Saquon Barkley
and lost.
Shout out Jalen Hurts. Yeah, and lost, right? So the Bucs
the whole team
there with him. He's the whole team. The Saints game, they don't score a touchdown if that boy don't take that ball 60 yards.
Facts.
They don't score a touchdown. So he's carrying that team. And wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if you don't have a top of the line quarterback or a young quarterback that's playing very immaturely and just having trouble reading these defenses? Wouldn't it make it simpler to have a somebody else to just give the ball to that can turn a 3-yard play into a 60-yard play? It's crazy. It's on that front office.
That's why
put a defense around these guys, or go get another bell cow, man. Not even a bell cow, because you're not getting a Saquon.
No.
The thing about Saquon is he can take it to the house. That's lost value. That's like, everybody talks about running backs. Oh, they're not worth this, they're not worth that. Well, when you have a running back that can take it to the house, they're worth it, because those are big plays. These guys that just, can just pick up what they need, that's the argument for those guys. We're not talking about these home run hitters, because they're valuable.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail right on the head, man. It's just mind-boggling. Wouldn't this offense look so much better? Wouldn't we think of the Giants as a completely different team if they had, I don't know, the best running back in the NFL? It ain't like they let a random guy walk. You let the best running back in the league walk. You let Odell Beckham walk at the peak of his powers. What is going on with the Giants, man? I don't get, like, what are y'all trying to win games? Y'all are in the biggest market in the league. Only team with the bigger brand that you could say definitively has a bigger brand than the Giants is the Cowboys and the Steelers. That's it. They're right up there in the top 3 as far as biggest brands in the league, and it just doesn't make any sense. You let Saquon go. It's time to move on from Daniel Jones, and he's not even just playing terrible. But what's the point? What are you going to gain? I'd rather stick a regular guy out there, beef up this offensive line, go get some more help in the secondary for your defense, keep the rest of these guys that can play. It's about to be time to pay Kayvon Thibodeau. You already paid Dexter Lawrence, but I'm sure he's going to want some more money if I got to sit through this and watch these L's pile up. He's going to want some more money. You got Brian Burns. You got to pay. Make sure those guys stay. Make sure you lock those guys up, because y'all have a problem locking up your top guys. Y'all already need to be thinking about a contract from Elite Neighbors. He just got here. Already start thinking about it. How are you going to structure this? This needs to already be in your thought process. Let's get rid of Daniel Jones and go take that $40 million, that $30 million that he's getting, and let's go put that on the defense. Let's put that on the O-line. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, man. The New York Giants are very confusing, and that's why they're in the predicament that they're in. So, not sure if it's time to move on from Brian Daboll yet, but definitely time to move on from Daniel Jones. Folks, want to thank everybody for watching with us so far today. Here joined with Kyrell Gibson, just going through some of these NFL games. Just got done talking about the Giants and the Cowboys. Now let's go stay right here in the NFC East, man, to one of those really good games on this Sunday that could be potentially the best game on this Sunday, or one of the best games on Sunday. And the Philadelphia Eagles going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Two teams that won. The Eagles, everybody thought would be at the top of the NFC. The Bucs, after the first couple of weeks, everybody thought they would be at the top of the NFC until they get beat down by the Denver Broncos in one of the more puzzling games of the season. Now, in this game, A.J. Brown is questionable for the game. Devontae Smith is already labeled as out for the game. The stud rookie running back, Bucky Irvin for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is questionable for this game as well. The Eagles, man, I don't know how to judge this team. This is one of the more confusing teams in the league to me, because at one point we're saying your defense is terrible. I'm saying, like Kyrell told us before the season, that the secondary was terrible. This defense can't get any stops on anybody. It's just the offense doing what they do. And then they come out on Sunday against what was the number one offense in the league at the time, and they don't let them get in the end zone. Play a great game defensively. Vic Fangio did a great coaching job on his schemes that he ran against this New Orleans Saints team last Sunday, and they were able to get a win against New Orleans, a game I thought New Orleans was going to win just based off the first couple weeks and how they looked in the first couple weeks of how Philly looked. So Philly, they come out there able to get a win. Jalen Hurts still turnover problem. He's got 3 touchdowns and 4 picks on the year already. It's not a great start. Saquon Barkley, honestly, if the Philadelphia Eagles win 13 games, which I don't think they do, Saquon Barkley is the MVP of the NFL. That's how good Saquon has been through these first couple weeks. They missed A.J. Brown the last couple weeks. Now Devontae Smith is hurt. Without them being in there, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to expect from this offense. I can't trust Jalen Hurts. I can't put any more trust in Jalen Hurts. I've tried to since that Super Bowl run. He just cannot stop turning the football over. I can't put any trust in this guy. Now you're telling me that both of his number ones might be out at the receiver spot? And like you said, Kyrie, without Saquon breaking off that crazy tackle, breaking off that crazy run for 60-something yards, they don't score. And Dallas Goedert had like a 40-yard catch as well that he would have scored a touchdown if he wasn't one of the slowest tight ends in the NFL. So without his 2 receivers out there, they're going to load the box up. Tampa Bay's got a good front 7. They got Vita Vea in there. They still got Levante David in there. They're going to load the box on these dudes. Tampa Bay on the other side of this, I thought was one of the top teams in the NFC until they went out and got beat by Bo Nix, which is very confusing. I don't even know how that happened. They lost. They lost on every level to that team. Denver, shout out to Denver, did a great job in that game to get a win. But, man, that was very surprising for me, for Denver to go out there and beat Tampa Bay the way that they did. But now both teams trying to regroup. Philly coming off of a good win, but kind of a win. It's not like they beat anybody convincingly. Tampa Bay coming off of a loss. Both these teams trying to be 2 of the top teams in the NFC. I got Philadelphia winning this game. Philly's -2 in this one. So obviously I would take the points because I don't think they're going to win by a point. So I would take Philly's points in this. But man, this is a close one. This is a tough one. This is a game I would honestly stay away from if I was picking and if I was making my parlays for the weekend. I'm staying away from this game because this one can definitely go either way and what's going to be a really good matchup. Kyrie, what do you think about Philly going to Tampa Bay on Sunday?
Yeah, man. I'm going to take the Buccaneers. So it's really about how do I feel about that running game. Philly, right? Are they going to be able to run the ball against Tampa Bay? I think the issues that Tampa Bay ran into last week, I think they are a passing team, even though they have a pretty good back in Bucky Irving. But I think they're a passing team. I think that's the strength of this offense. So, of course, I think they were sacked 7 or 8 times last week. Mm-hmm. But, Denver has one of the best passing back fives in the league, right? So that's a pretty good secondary, especially with Surtain out there on one side.
Yeah.
So outside of that, I think the Eagles are going to have to lean on that running game. But so that's a slow game, right? Unless Saquon goes for 150 or 200, I just don't. That's going to be the case. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith are out too. So that's even harder to, So you really probably not going to have too much of a passing game against the Buccaneers. On the other side of the ball, your secondary is your secondary. I think they held up pretty well last week here, but I still don't understand the Saints. But
good coach game for Fangio. That was just a good coach game.
Okay, yeah. So these on the other side with Baker and his receivers, he's going against a rookie, and is Darius Slay gonna play? Because I saw he was limping around out there. He's not on the injury report, so I'm going to say he's going to play.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just think this Eagles secondary is weak, and that's a strength for the Bucs. And I don't know how to feel about the Bucs rushing defense, but I don't think it's as weak as the Eagles secondary. I can say that. So I think Baker tears them up, man. I don't think Saquon and Jalen Hurts can keep up on the scoreboard, I think we're in for a shootout. I'm taking the over on this game.
Hey, now I'm not mad at that. You might have changed my opinion live here on television of the game in this point, and it's really more of if AJ Brown doesn't play, I'm taking the Bucks. So this is a game that you almost have to wait till Sunday to try to pick this one. If AJ Brown does not play, I'm taking the Bucks 100%. Taking the Bucks
Even if he does, that's Pat Surtain out there. I know AJ torched Jair Alexander, but to me that was a cover 2 shell he got beat on. But outside of that, man, Jair was on him. I think Surtain is going to do an even better job.
No, they playing against I don't know who the what's it called is for the Buccaneers. Jamel Dean is their corner.
Right. I'm thinking of the Broncos. Right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But still, how much is AJ Brown gonna play if he does play? What does he miss? 2 weeks now? 2-3 weeks? Ain't played since week 1 when they were in Brazil playing on that backyard field out there that got everybody hurt. So how effective is he gonna be? Yeah, never mind, y'all. Never mind. Give me +2 Tampa Bay. I'm taking it right now. Let me lock it in before the spread change. Give me +2 Tampa Bay because I'm keeping up with these picks, so y'all can't get on me when I come on here and celebrate and tell y'all I know what I'm talking about. Try to tell y'all about that 5.5 last night with the Giants. So give me +2 Tampa Bay, man. I don't, and it's at home for Tampa Bay. I don't see Philly being able to get this one, man. I know all the Philly fans are gonna jump on me. Said, who was just on here yesterday, is a Philly fan, so I know they all gonna get on me. But give me Tampa Bay +2. That game's at 12 o'clock on Sunday. Should be one of the better games on this Sunday slate, and we got some pretty good games on this Sunday slate. I want to skip forward a little bit to the Sunday night and the Monday night game. Sunday night, Buffalo Bills going to the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore is coming off of a good win, depending on how you look at it, a good win against the Cowboys. It was a good win because they were blowing them out, but the reason I have some skepticism about it is because you let them score 19 points in the fourth quarter and almost come back in that game. But maybe they just took their foot off the gas, so we'll have to see. Baltimore, 2.5-point favorite at home. Buffalo Bills right now. I did my top 5 on Wednesday when Wayne was on here with me. I had Buffalo number 1. They've looked like the best team in the league so far to me. Yes, Kansas City is 3-0 as well, but Kansas City has squeaked out all 3 wins. Now, a win is a win. I'm not saying that, a win is a win. But Buffalo has pretty much stumped out everybody they played since that second half of the Cardinals game. They were down by 20-something at halftime. The Cardinals came out and won that game 34-28. They stumped out the Dolphins 31-10. They completely, if I said they stumped out the Dolphins, they curb stumped the Jaguars 47-10. That was horrible on Monday night a few days ago. So they got Baltimore this week. This is a huge game. Potentially game of the week. That's why it's on Sunday night. It's on Sunday night for a reason. Huge game. 2 MVP caliber quarterbacks. Josh Allen right now the favorite to win MVP this year, even though it's early. He's already the overwhelming favorite. I think he's favored by a lot over everybody right now, and rightfully so. You get rid of Stephon Diggs. You get rid of Gabe Davis and say, Josh, we're going to bet on you. And he's delivered so far. So this is going to be a tough game. Buffalo, like you mentioned, I think earlier in the week, Kyrell, Buffalo, they play great at home. That's a great atmosphere, almost a collegiate-like atmosphere at Buffalo Stadium out there because there's nothing else, absolutely nothing else going on in Buffalo, New York. So all the fans are there. The whole city's there and all surrounding areas are there. They're on the road this time, taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Like we said, they just got a good win. But can Derrick Henry perform like this twice? He's 30 now. Can he have back-to-back good games like this against a way better Buffalo defense than the Dallas Cowboys defense? Can Lamar get this play action going? That's what it's going to depend on. Can the coach, can Todd Monken scheme up something that can get Lamar Jackson going in this play action? Everyone has so much to say about Greg Roman and their archaic offense. But one thing they could do when Lamar won that first MVP in 2019, they were the best play action team in the league. They ran the ball and set up the play action perfectly. And I just haven't seen that since Todd Monken, including the MVP year last year from Lamar Jackson that Kyrell said should have went to the Baltimore Ravens defense. And it wasn't like Lamar had an overwhelming year. I just think, honestly, last year they didn't know who to give it to. And I'm glad Lamar won MVP. Like I say on the show all the time, he's my favorite player in the league. But his MVP last year was nowhere close to his MVP season in 2019. So can they get this play action going? Can Todd Monken scheme something up that they can have success against this Buffalo team? This is a good Buffalo defense. You have to attack their secondary. I think their secondary is shaky. I think their front seven can play great at times. Their secondary is shaky, though. So you're going to have to put the ball in the air, but you got to find a way to get around Von Miller and Greg Russo and Ed Oliver and DeQuan Jones, all those guys that they got on the D-line for Buffalo. So right now, Baltimore is a 2.5-point favorite. I like Baltimore in this game. I like them because they're at home, and I think the magic is going to wear off slightly for the Buffalo Bills. But this is another tough one, man. Another one that if I was doing a parlay, I would stay away from this game. Kyrie, what do you think about this game? Buffalo going to Baltimore on Sunday night.
Yeah, I'm staying away from it too, Jalen. I don't know how to feel about this game, right? So we've had the Ravens not win any games except for against the Cowboys. That makes me nervous because of how the Saints performed in the very next week, right? Mm-hmm. Lamar completed 12 passes last week, man. I know he didn't need to run the ball throw the ball, but I just don't think it's going to be that easy. What I can see happening, though, I can see this happening, and that will be a overcorrection from the Bills, right? They look at that film and sell out on trying to stop Derrick Henry, and then Lamar figures out the passing game. But I don't think that's what's going to happen, man. I think the Bills bandwagon gets started this week with a victory in Baltimore. I don't see the way. I know it's the Jaguars, and I know it was the Dolphins without really just the Dolphins. They were whooping on them before they got hurt. But I think Buffalo might be in that zone, man. Like I think they're there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Buffalo in this game. I think
money line. Or are you taking the points?
No, I'm taking the points, but I'm staying away from that. I don't want to. I think Buffalo's going to win the game, man.
Yeah.
I think Buffalo's going to win the game. I don't know what the score is going to be, but I don't see the Ravens winning a high-scoring game with Buffalo. I think this offense is efficient right now. It's not going to be a whole lot of big plays. If Kyle Hamilton and Roquan can stop this run, it might be a different story. But my problem is with Baltimore's offense right now. I don't think their running game is fixed because of what they did to the Cowboys. I think this Buffalo team has faced a couple of pretty good, or supposed to be pretty good rushing attacks, and they've held their own. But I think Buffalo with Josh Allen, it's going to be a different type of beast.
Yeah. I mean,
give me the Bills.
Yeah, Bills. You say you're staying away from the points, so we're doing money line. So I'm agreeing with you as far as if this game right now, the over-under is 46.5 points. If this under 46.5 points, I'm taking the Ravens for sure. If this game does get over 46.5, it might be because Buffalo is beating Baltimore down because they can't score. If Buffalo scores 30 points, it's over. I don't think this Ravens offense can score 30 points. They didn't score 30 points against the Cowboys, who they blew out. Why would I think they could score 30 points against the Bills defense? But Buffalo, on the other hand, has scored over 30 points in every game they've played so far. So I mean, it's a matchup, a good matchup. It's on Sunday Night Football for a reason. Like I said, I'm taking Baltimore -2.5. This is for recreation only, folks. Do not go and take these picks that I'm saying and try to put down your rent money, your money that you owe on child support, or your last $2 that you need for the bus fare and for the jukebox. So don't use that. But I'm taking Baltimore 2.5 in this one. I want to try to go through the rest of these games. Got about 10 minutes left before we go to break on here. I want to try to just quickly go through some of these other games and just pick who we think is going to win in this one. So let's go to Minnesota. Minnesota's going to be taking on Green Bay. Minnesota 3-0 in this game. Green Bay 2-1. Malik Willis has been playing good. Can't even lie. Malik Willis has been playing good since he's taken over for this team. Right now, Green Bay is a 3-point favorite in this game, -3.5. I'm taking those points. Give me Minnesota on the points. Kyra, what do you think about Minnesota and Green Bay?
Yeah, man, give me Minnesota. Brian Flores versus a first-year starting quarterback. I'm taking Brian Flores.
Yeah, facts. I'm definitely taking that. I know Malik Willis has played good, and it's at home in Green Bay, but yeah, Brian Flores has been. I mean, he's been a dog so far in these first few few weeks of the season. Let's pick another one here. We got Washington. Jaden Daniels coming off a great game, going to the Arizona Cardinals, who aren't that bad, honestly. Now they're 1-2 right now, but Kyler Murray has been playing good. 635 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick in this game. Right now, they got Arizona a 3.5-point favorite, and I think I like that line. I'm going to take the Cardinals in this one. I'm going to take the Cardinals in this one. I think they had a good performance. The Commanders did against the Bengals on Sunday night, but I think that was more of taking advantage of a Bengals team that has no identity and doesn't know what they're doing right now. So give me the 3.5 for the Arizona Cardinals. Commanders and Cardinals, Kyra, who you like in this one?
Yeah, I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Arizona. I don't think that Washington is going to be able to run the ball like they did against Arizona. I don't actually, man. You know what? I don't like this one.
You don't like it?
I don't like this one. I don't. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, give me Washington, man.
Give me Washington 3.5.
Yeah, give me Washington. I don't really have a reason. This is just, I'm going to be looking at the quarterbacks and the way that secondary covered Jamar Chase. I know that they struggled, but I just think Marvin Harrison Jr. and the type of receivers that they have are just a little bit different, a little bit of a different build. You know, I think Marvin Harrison is going to be a over the middle type of guy, you know, not really beating you up the sidelines. So I'm interested to see like where he catches his balls this week. But I think that we're going to start. I think there's going to be another hype train building up, and that's the Jaden Daniels hype train for rookie of the year. I think that continues on Sunday. So give me Washington.
I think it's only the first quarter of the season, so he hasn't locked anything up, but he's definitely the favorite for rookie of the year right now. And I'm 100% agreeing with you on the Marvin Harrison point. You know, he was such a deep threat in college. Everybody thought that was going to happen, but this is the league, man. Everybody out here is a grown man and gets paid for a reason. He's not going to be much of a deep threat. I'm seeing him more as a Brandon Marshall type, as more than a deep threat like a Randy Moss or some of the other taller receivers that we've seen in the past that are deep threats, DK Metcalf and stuff. I think he's got more Brandon Marshall potential than some of those other things, and that's not.
Or you know, the Arizona legend, you know, Larry.
Yeah,
you know?
Facts. I didn't want to take it there because Larry was so cold in college and in the league. I didn't want to give him that yet, but yeah, it's more like that. Yes, he can be a home run threat when you give him the ball. And shout out Larry Fitzgerald, man. One of the best Super Bowl runs for an individual I've ever seen with my two eyes was that 2010 year when they went to the Super Bowl and lost to, or 2009, whichever year it was, and lost to the Steelers, man. He was unstoppable in those playoffs.
And he holds the best, to me, the best wide receiver record, you know, that you could have. You know what I'm talking about?
Which one?
The more tackles than drops.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I think he might have lost it at the end of his career, but for most of his career, he had more tackles than drops as a receiver.
That's ridiculous. That doesn't even make sense. That's a ridiculous stat to even have that. Like, he does not drop anything. I'm interested to see where Julio Jones is on that, not because he didn't have a lot of drops, just because he's probably the best tackling receiver of all time. I think he could have had a Pro Bowl career, All-Pro career at safety if he wasn't going to be a starter as a receiver, a Hall of Fame career as a receiver too. So I'd like to see where he's at on that one. So going to another game, another great game. They're doing another doubleheader on Monday night. League, y'all got to stop this, man. I understand you're trying to find a way to make some more money hey, let's stop because some of these games are terrible. And the first one is Tennessee versus Miami. Not even going to talk about that game. I want to talk about the second one. Seattle versus Detroit. This is a really good game. Seattle is a really, really sneaky good team, man. You know, they let go of Jamal Adams. They let go of Quandre Diggs. And they're letting the young guys go out there and play. They got a top 3 cornerback duo with Devin Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen out there, 2 young guys. I like the Seahawks, man. I like the Seahawks and what they've been doing there. Right now, Detroit is a 3.5-point favorite over the Seahawks in this one. And I might have to take those points with Seattle, man. Detroit is good, and obviously they made a great run last year, but they haven't looked like world beaters so far this year. Right now, they're 62% favorite on the ESPN Analytics matchup predictor. I don't know about that, man. Seattle's been making some noise, and Seattle's got a feisty defense. And shout out Geno Smith, man. Geno Smith's been playing decent football, doing what he's supposed to do. Now, the running game has been up and down. Hopefully, what's his name comes back. Kenneth Walker comes back because he's on my fantasy team, and Austin Eckler's already out. So I need you to come back, bro. And I can't wait till Monday. So let me know something. Y'all hit me up if y'all know something on Kenneth Walker that I don't. Is he gonna play or not this week? But I like Seattle in this one, at least as far as the points. Detroit could get a win in this one, but if they win, it's gonna be narrow. I'll take Seattle's plus 3.5 on this. What you think about this game, Kyrell?
Yeah, man. Seattle plus 3.5. Yeah, I don't think they're going to win the game, man. So I think I'm taking the Lions. I'm taking the Lions to cover that. So minus 3.5. I don't think this game is going to be close. To me, this is the first offensive competition they faced all year. Right? They haven't seen this much talent.
Facts.
All season. So I think they might come out a little shell-shocked, you know, to feel what it's like to cover a DK and JSN. And I'm not – but the biggest thing to me is I don't think that what is his name? Man, Jalen, what is the running back's name?
For who?
Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's back yet. So if he doesn't play –
and I need him to.
They've been beat. Yeah, he's questionable right now. He's limited on Friday.
Yeah, he ain't played in 3 weeks.
Hasn't played in 3 weeks. Your first 3 games with Denver, Bo Nix, New England, Jacoby Brissett, and then whoever got trotted out there for Miami last week. So you're going to face a quarterback. You're going to face 2 good running backs, 2 good receivers. I think this defense is going to get lit up this week. Yeah, give me Detroit minus 3 then.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Like you said, the great point, Seattle has not played anybody so far this year. They've only played beat-up quarterback rooms, honestly. And so I wouldn't be surprised about that. Like I said, I would probably pick, if I had to go money line, I would pick Detroit. But I think those 3.5 points, I think if Detroit wins, it'll be slightly, maybe by a field goal or something like that. But obviously no shocker if they go in there and take care of business like they're supposed to. Kansas City. 7.5-point favorite. I think we're all going to agree there. Justin Herbert is questionable in this game. He was out last week. If he doesn't play, and Rashawn Slater is out, Joey Bosa's out. So I think we'll probably both go Kansas City on that one. So let's pick another game that's a little bit more closely contested, and that's New Orleans versus the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta, yeah, they got their win against the Eagles. We all saw it. A game that they were supposed to lose. Saquon Barkley doesn't drop that ball. We looking at an 0-3 Falcons team. 0-3. Now, they played the Chiefs very tough. They played them tough down to the end in that game. But, I mean, 0-3 is staring them right in the face if Saquon doesn't drop that ball. Their only win is by 1 point. They're coming into the New Orleans Saints. This game is at home for the Falcons. So if they were to get back on track, this would have to be the game. Right now, Falcons are 3-point favorite in this one. This is another game I'll stay away from, man. I don't know what either one of these teams are doing. Not like what direction they're going. I just don't know what they are yet. The season has been so up and down for both. Atlanta's been in every game, but like I said, if Saquon doesn't drop that, they're 0-3. New Orleans looked like world beaters in week 1. They go out there and lose to Philly. Does this offense get back on track against the Falcons? This is a pretty decent Falcons defense, and they're at home as well. So I like New Orleans in this game because I don't trust the Falcons yet, man. I mean, y'all just, what is going on with this offense? Why can't it be more explosive? Bijan has 1 touchdown. I don't understand what's going on. Bijan is, as talent-wise, is a top 3 talent at the running back position in the league. He has the potential to be the best running back in the league. I don't understand what's going on, why they can't find a way to get him the ball more, why they can't find a way to get Kyle Pitts the ball more. They're giving Drake London the ball. That's cool. But if I got to see another 5 or 6 catch game from Ray McCloud, I don't know what's going on with the Falcons. And Kirk Cousins, why he can't get his stars the ball. So, Kyrie, what do you think about this game, New Orleans and Atlanta?
And yeah, I'm going to go with Atlanta. I think they get their first week. I think it's probably the best game on the slate outside of Sunday night. No. Yeah, the Sunday night game, right? So I'm going to go with Atlanta. I think we really saw – I think the teams that have played the Cowboys so far, especially these last 2 weeks, I think they caught them, like, really in a time of just cowboyness. I don't know what to tell you. I think they were soft, man. Like, just watching that film, these guys were soft and not ready. And I think that what they experienced the next game, now Atlanta, I just don't see them like AJ Terrell, Justin Simmons, Jesse Bates, like that three. I just can't see them where the big plays at. You know, you're going to have to run the ball, and they did it against the Cowboys, but they didn't do it that well against the Eagles. So I just don't know which I'm going to see. I saw Kyle Pitts get the ball a little bit more last week.
He did.
I keep hoping week to week, year to year, like, hey, you gotta fan him out there. Like, we're treating like it's a Chrysler, man. Like, come on.
Literally.
So I'm thinking Darnell Mooney, he's starting to become a player. Well, he was already a player, but he's kind of becoming a reliable. He might be a top number 2, man, or top, like one of those guys that.
He better than Ray McCloud. I don't know why they keep throwing him the ball.
For sure. But Ray getting his, man.
He is. Shout out Ray for sure.
Yeah, the Clemson product, I'm pretty sure, but. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Bijan looks like Bijan. The same, the rookie running back, those first 3 years, they be looking like, oh man, Hall of Famer. So
yeah.
I like their skill players better, man. I'm not too sure. I think the Saints front 7 on both sides is better than the Falcons front 7. But the skill players, right? Mm-hmm. Back 5 on defense and the running back to receiving core on offense, I like better. Of Atlanta, Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, that's the same guy.
Yeah,
I see him as the same dude. Like, they're not bad, they're not terrible quarterbacks, but I don't want them.
Kamara might be out, and Chris Olave might be out. They're both questionable, but I think they're going to end up being doubtful. Yeah, never mind. Give me the Falcons. Give me the Falcons, man. Give me the Falcons.
No Kamara, no Olave.
Yeah, they cook. They're done.
Can't throw the Shaheed all game, man.
They're done. No. They ain't going to work on AJ Terrell anyway.
Exactly. They might not even put him on him, man. He might just be playing one side this week. They ain't finna waste their time. Everybody just don't get beat deep. Just don't let them get behind you, and you good. Yeah, give me the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm taking the Falcons too. Give me the Falcons all the way. I forgot about. I seen it this morning when I got up about Kamara might not play and Chris Olave might not play. If they play, I'm probably still might take the Falcons. But if they don't play, come on, man, give me the Falcons by a lot in this one. That's probably why they're a 3-point favorite in this game right now. So, folks, that was the NFL carousel we got a chance to talk about. I want to thank Kyrie for coming on here with me here in hour number 1, man. We got a shortened hour number 2 coming up next. I'm going to play you some of my conversation with Cedric Eaglehart yesterday as we get ready for this La Vega game, 7 o'clock as they take on Stephenville tonight. And we'll talk about some of the other high school games going on around Central Texas here in hour number 2. Stay tuned right here to Centex Primetime. We'll be right back after this.
Are you looking for something new and unforgettable in Waco? Come to the Blazing Asian, where authentic Cambodian flavors meet creative culinary flair. Voted People's Choice as Waco's #1 Asian restaurant since 2019 by both the Wacoan Magazine and the Waco Tribune Herald. Located inside the popular Union Hall on 8th and Franklin, we're serving up family recipes with a twist. Blazing Asian egg rolls are rolled fresh daily, and their sauce
46680.
Union Hall on 8th and Franklin. And for Baylor students, enjoy 10% off with your student ID.
NSJ Event Co., one of the premier event designers in Central Texas and a Centex Sports Network supporter, voted Waco Awards Event Planner of the Year 2021. NSJ Event Co. is your go-to source for event planning. Whether it's your next baby shower, birthday bash, wedding, or retirement party, NSJ Event Co. will bring out the elegance, class, and style your event deserves. Call NSJ Event Co. at the number on the screen or scan the QR code to schedule a free consultation. NSJ Event Co., where the party lady takes care of all your event needs.
Central Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. Catch all your in-depth sports analysis with the best. The hottest sports show in the evening is Centex Primetime, hosted by Jalen Gillis.
Act like y'all know.
Weekdays 5 to 7. This is the Central Texas #1 leader in sports. Centex Sports Network.
That's right, sports fans. We can talk about sports.
And Infinity Sports.
The East Waco Empowerment Project, along with City Center Waco, is hosting WeBo, Workshop in Business Opportunity, to help create more entrepreneurs. Business owners like Aniceto Charles of True Jamaica Restaurant and Carla Dotson of Boardwalk on Elm attended WeBo to develop their business ideas into successful Black-owned businesses right in the heart of East Waco. WeBo can also help you turn your side hustle or business idea into the next thriving Black-owned business in our community. If you would like to attend this 10-week intense entrepreneurial workshop, go to WeBoWaco.org. That's WIBO Waco.org. Space.
This is live from the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports Studios.
That's right, sports fans.
About to show these boys how we do it. You ready?
Tune in to Primetime Sports Talk with Jalen Gillis, your go-to source for breaking sports news in Central Texas and exclusive Dallas Cowboys coverage on the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports.
Welcome back to hour number 2 here on Centex Prime Time. I'm your host, Jalen Gillis. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with us. Like I said earlier, not only today, but this entire week, as we got a chance to talk about a lot of different sports. Had a lot of different people on here with me this week. Got a chance to catch up with Cedric Eichelhart, man, the play-by-play guy for the La Vega Pirates, as we get ready for homecoming game. La Vega taking on Stephenville tonight. That game is at 7 o'clock. So the pregame will start at 6:30 immediately following this show. And I want to give you guys a chance to hear my conversation yesterday with Cedric Eichelhart about this La Vega team. So La Vega, they're coming into this game. Yeah, they lost a couple games in the middle of the season. They lost to some great teams. They lost to Salina, who is a top 3 team in 4A Division I. They lost to West Orange Stark, who's a top 15 team in 4A Division I. So they've been punching up. And they took on a Brownwood team that was a good team coming into that week. And La Vega shut them out. They beat them down 43-0. So they've got a lot of confidence going into this game tonight. Like I said, pregame is at 6:30. The game is at 7 o'clock. You can listen to that right here on Infinity Sports Central Texas, or you can listen to it on 94.5 FM if you're on the dial and you're not going to have a chance to get to the game. Listen to it on the radio, or you can go to YouTube if you want to be able to watch. We'll have some of the footage up on YouTube, Centex Sports Network on YouTube. So make sure you tune in and listen to that. Like I said, caught up yesterday with Cedric Eichelhart. Got a chance to talk about these La Vega Pirates, and I want to let you guys listen to some of that. So I'll play that interview that I had with him yesterday. About this La Vega team that you've been covering, that you've had a chance to be in close contact with, man. They have had sort of an up and down season if you're from the outside looking in.
Yeah. And here's the thing about La Vega, and Coach Hyde made it very clear, going into the season. We have a brutal non-district schedule.
Yeah.
Every team that they've played has been ranked. I think, their worst loss came to Salina, and right now Salina is ranked number 1 in class 4A D1.
Yeah.
So there's no shame there. They lost to West Orange Stark. This is another 4A D1 team who is ranked in the top 15. Last week going into Brownwood to beat another team that was ranked in the top 20 in class 4A D1.
Yeah.
And to pitch a shutout.
Shutout.
Very, very, very masterful performance by the Pirates. We saw Bryson Rowland this is a guy that you can't tackle in the phone booth,
man.
And he did Bryson Rowland things as a 4-year varsity starter. We saw him. We understand. He did what he did.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And so for La Vega to come back off of back-to-back losses, and then to throw a shutout on the road against a very, very talented Brownwood ball club, that was impressive.
Yeah, super impressive. And I mean, you segued into it perfectly, man. La Vega goes out there against a top-ranked team in Brownwood, a team that people weren't sure. La Vega had dropped two games in a row. If, like I said, if you're on the outside looking in, you just see the losses and you're not really thinking about the in-depth, like you just explained. Salina being a top school in 4A Division I, West Orange Stark being one of the top schools in 4A Division I. So a lot of people had question marks coming in this Brownwood, and it was a masterclass. Just like you said, a great coaching job by Coach Hyde. His players stepped up to the plate. They knew what was at stake. Brownwood's not an easy place to go to and play either. You previewed last week on the show talking about the history that they have at this program. This is one of the more historic football programs in the state of Texas. So to go in there and get a win in the way that they were able to get the win, pitching the shutout, 43-0, Bryson Rowland, 18 carries, 146 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, this guy is as advertised.
And that was all in the first half.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think he played a snap in the second half.
Yeah.
He didn't need to.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing is we're seeing the ability of Don Hyde and his coaching staff to make adjustments. Coach Hyde told me if you listen to the pregame show last week, he was saying, "Hey, listen, we're not big. We're just not big. We're going to be undersized going into every matchup. But what we have to do is we have to figure out how to use our quickness to our advantage." And that's exactly what we saw, because Brownwood had a couple of kids, 6'2" or taller, 300 pounds. Like, Brownwood had some beef.
Oh yeah.
But it didn't. It didn't manifest into them being able to do anything on the offensive side of the ball. La Vega defense, those guys, they were just like dogs that just hunted and brought home scalps.
Yeah. And I mean, they did a phenomenal job in that game. Like I said, Bryson Rowland did great. Jabari Thornton had 5 catches, 108 yards. And most of these guys, like you said, they didn't even play the second half. This is really all first half stats. And now that I'm seeing this team get into its groove, and now they've had some time to learn each other some more. A lot of these guys been playing with each other, but you add in new pieces every year, and it takes time to gel. I know everybody wants you to just come in and be automatic, but when you're playing such a tough schedule, I mean, a real gauntlet like La Vega is playing, it's tough to come in and be able to do that. So this weekend, they got a huge test, like they've been tested every week so far. And this might be the biggest test that they've got so far. And taking on Stephenville is coming to town. This is a team that's one of La Vega's rivals almost. They've been playing these guys since high school. Back when I was in high school in 2014, a lot of my friends from over there were talking about how they played against Jared Stidham, who's in the league right now, when he was at Stephenville, and what the Stephenville program has been able to do. We're looking at Coy Eakin, that's on Texas Tech, making plays every weekend now. The receiver out of Stephenville. They've got guys on this squad as usual. And this offense this year is very, very explosive. They've been putting up 40 and 50 every week is what it seems like, sometimes pitching shutouts against teams. They have a dynamic running back who's been going over 100 yards just about every week. Their quarterback play has been great as usual, like we just talked about. Jared Stidham, who went there, if we go back to the early 2000s, Kevin Kolb, who played in the NFL for some years, was at Stephenville. So quarterback play, they're used to that here. Talk about a little bit about this Stephenville and La Vega matchup. We got it tomorrow.
Yeah, what you have in this Stephenville program, this is basically what Coach Doty has been able to do. This is basically an extension of what Art Briles did when he was there, right?
Yeah.
And so this is a offense. It's a big play offense. They don't mind putting the ball in the air. Their quarterback is extremely accurate. I want to say he's completed like 80% of his passes so far this year.
Yeah.
So, this is a guy, he's not going to put the ball in danger. And then they have a four-star recruit at a receiver in Tristan Gentry.
Yeah.
He's already given a verbal to Texas Tech. And this is just one, like you said, a continuation of this program putting guys into the next level. This is going to be a big test for La Vega because La Vega plays man-to-man defense.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and they've done a pretty decent job so far in running that 4-3 man-to-man D. They're going to be tested this week.
Oh, yeah.
Because one thing Stephenville doesn't mind doing is they don't mind putting the ball in the air.
Yeah.
and then to make bad things worse, they have a very decent running back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
very
saying?
Decent.
So, and this guy he scored both touchdowns last week when they played Wiley in the win against Wiley.
Yeah.
So, this is a Stephenville team that's going to come in with a lot of weapons.
Yeah.
All guns are going to be loaded for Stephenville when they show up for homecoming Friday night in Belmead.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one. Like you said, it's going to be homecoming, so the atmosphere will be great. It's going to be a great time to be able to watch some football. And like you said, man, this Stephenville team does not mind putting the ball in the air. When I got a chance to watch them maybe a couple years ago when they had Coy Eakin and those guys there, and I think Lambert was their quarterback, man, I mean, that 40 passes is nothing for them. Like, they don't mind putting the ball in the air whatsoever. They have athletes at the receiver position, and somehow they keep finding a way to breed these quarterbacks. So they got another quarterback in there that is a baller and has been balling all year long. So I don't want you to give too much away, but what are some of the keys in this game for La Vega to be able to be successful tomorrow against Stephenville?
Yeah, I just think that the main thing that La Vega has to do is because they thrive in this man-to-man defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think their defensive backs, they need to make sure that they're on assignment in terms of covering their man. But I think the main thing is La Vega needs to generate a pass rush.
Yeah.
They're not very big on the defensive line, but they are very fast. They are quick. Guys like Warren Richardson Jr.
Yeah.
Salty guy. Whenever he makes a tackle, it's with bad intention.
Yeah.
But they need guys like him. Broderick Scott.
Yeah.
They need these kids to generate a pass rush to make sure that the Stephenville quarterback doesn't feel comfortable in the pocket. You want to flush him out of the pocket. He's not an athlete in terms of I'm going to roll out and make a play off script.
Yeah.
He sits in the pocket and dissects things.
Yeah.
And let the plays kind of come to him. You have to put pressure on him. And so I think the main thing that La Vega needs to focus on tomorrow night is generating a pass rush.
For sure. So, folks, a huge game coming up tomorrow. I want you guys to make sure you are ready. You can listen right here on 94.5 FM and Infinity Sports Radio, Central Texas. If you want to be able to watch some of the broadcasts, you can go to YouTube right here on Centex Sports Network, and you'll be able to watch. Said is going to be there, man, and guiding you through the game. So you guys get ready. This is a huge matchup, and it is homecoming for La Vega. So all of y'all are not going to be able to get in. So if you can't get in and you want to watch or listen, come right here to Centex Sports Network. So, folks, that was my interview with Mr. Cedric Igerhart, the play-by-play man. You'll hear him in just a few minutes right here on Infinity Sports Radio, Central Texas, and on Centex Sports Network and 94.5 FM as the pregame show is starting in about 15 minutes, everybody. So he just gave you the rundown, the keys for La Vega. He didn't give you the full rundown because you still got to listen to pregame to be able to catch all of the full rundown for the show. They have they're going to talk about Stephenville. They've got some interviews that they're going to play and give you some more perspective on this La Vega versus Stephenville game. But it's going to be fireworks. It's going to be a high-powered game. We're looking for a big score from both sides, man. Both sides have explosive offenses. La Vega's going to have that crowd behind them. They're going to be pumped up and ready to go. Stephenville is a good team, man. They have no problem traveling and putting up points wherever they go, and they've proven that so far this year. So, folks, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, I'll talk about some of these other games going on in the Central Texas area before we get you guys to the La Vega pregame show. Stay right here, folks. You're watching Centex Primetime right here on Infinity Sports Radio Central Texas and on Centex Sports Network. We will be right back.
Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. Catch all your in-depth sports analysis with the best. The hottest sports show in the evening is Centex Primetime, hosted by Jalen Gillis.
Act like y'all.
Weekdays 5 to 7. This is the Central Texas #1 leader in sports. Centex Sports Network.
That's right, sports fans. We can talk about sports.
And Infinity Sports.
NSJ Event Co., one of the premier event designers in Central Texas and a Centex Sports Network supporter. Voted Waco Awards Event Planner of the Year 2021, NSJ Event Co. is your go-to source for event planning. Whether it's your next baby shower, birthday bash, wedding, or retirement party, NSJ Event Co. will bring out the elegance, class, and style your event deserves. Call NSJ Event Co. at the number on the screen or scan the QR code to schedule a free consultation. NSJ Event Co., where the party lady takes care of all your event needs.
Are you looking for something new and unforgettable in Waco? Come to the Blazing Asian, where authentic Cambodian flavors meet creative culinary flair. Voted People's Choice as Waco's #1 Asian restaurant since 2019 by both the Wacoan Magazine and the Waco Tribune Herald. Located inside the popular Union Hall on 8th and Franklin, we're serving up family recipes with a twist. Blazing Asian egg rolls are rolled fresh daily, and their sauces or marinades are made in-house with love. Stop by today. Located inside the popular Union Hall on 8th and Franklin. And for Baylor students, enjoy 10% off with your student ID.
The East Waco Empowerment Project, along with City Center Waco, is hosting WeBo, Workshop and Business Opportunity, to help create more entrepreneurs. Business owners like Aniceto Charles of Trudy Maker Restaurant and Carla Dotson of Boardwalk on Elm attended WeBo to develop their business ideas into successful Black-owned businesses right in the heart of East Waco. WeBo can also help you turn your side hustle or business idea into the next thriving Black-owned business in our community. If you would like to attend this 10-week intense entrepreneurial workshop, go to WeBoWaco.org. That's WIBO Waco.org. Space.
Tune in to Primetime Sports Talk with Jalen Gillis.
We can talk about sports. Listen, it's that time.
This is live from the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports Studios.
We live.
Stay ready to voice your thoughts by calling 1-800-215-0598. Right here on Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports.
Welcome back into Centex Primetime, everybody. I'm your host, Jalen Gillis. As we have a few minutes left here on the show before we get you guys ready for the La Vega Pirate pregame show. That is coming on at 6:30, so make sure you guys are staying tuned for that. While we have a few minutes left, I want to talk about some of these other games we got going on in Central Texas high school football that are getting ready to kick off in about 30, 45 minutes here. But before we do that, I have to talk about this Prairie View versus Grambling game that is taking place. The State Fair Classic that you guys get to see every single year is coming back once again. And this time, PV and Grambling will be taking each other on as usual that we're used to seeing. Yeah, y'all see I got this PV hat on. No, I did not attend Prairie View A&M University, but I have family ties there to that school, so I'll be rooting for them in this game. Prairie View is the underdog in this one, so taking on Grambling. Got a chance to sit down and meet both of these coaches for Prairie View and for Grambling as well. A great game is ahead of us, folks, so try to make it to this game. If you can't, you can catch it on ESPN Plus as well. I will be in attendance. I'm ready for the Battle of the Bands at halftime. I'm ready to be able to watch this football game. Grambling coming into this game on a 3-game winning streak, man. They're 3-1 on the season. They lost to a bigger school in University of Louisiana, but since then they've ran off 3 in a row. They beat Tuskegee University, they won in overtime against Texas A&M Commerce, and they beat down Jackson State, which definitely made all the Grambling fans happy last week. They're coming to this on a 3-game winning streak. Prairie View on the other side has struggled in their last few games. They got a win over Northwestern State, but they lost against Texas Southern, and they lost to Southern in overtime last week. So they're coming in trying to regroup. believe their quarterback is still going to be out. They got a quarterback transfer that came in from U of H. He'll still be out. So the backup is in. They got to try to find a way to come out and get a win in this game, and I believe that they have a strong chance to be able to do that. It's going to be a great game, and I'm excited to be able to watch. That is on Saturday, 6 o'clock, folks, the State Fair Classic. Like I said, I'll be in attendance with my PV hat on if y'all want to catch me in the crowd. Tonight, a lot of great games going on around the Central Texas / Greater Waco area, man. A lot of good games going on. We just got a chance to preview a little bit of that La Vega and Stephenville game a second ago, and the La Vega pregame show is coming on in about 10 minutes, so I'll let them finish covering that game, and I'll talk about some of these other games going on in Central Texas. Last night, University Trojans took on Lampasas. Lampasas is always a good team every year, and University had their hands full with this game last night. They got the win 28-21. Lampasas, like I said, no joke. They were undefeated coming into this game, and University was able to squeak out a tough win yesterday. Shout out to these University Trojans, man. They've done a great job. Like I said, they've got a two-headed running attack in Ladarius Evans and J.D. Bell down there. Coach Kayron Johnson has done a great job with this program all year long. If you've been watching the show, we talk about this team a lot, this University Trojans team, man. They got a chance to be that premier team in this greater Waco area moving forward and this year as well. So they get a win last night, 28-21 over Lampasas. Temple got a win over Killeen Shoemaker yet last night as well, 44-26. This Temple team starting to catch a rhythm, starting to get into rhythm. They're going to be a tough team to beat as they move into district play. They got a win last night over a good Killeen Shoemaker team. Midway is taking on Harker Heights as we're talking about that district with Temple, Harker Heights, and Midway. Midway is taking on Harker Heights tonight at Leo Buckley Stadium. If you've ever been to any Killeen games from any of the schools in that Killeen area, you know exactly where Leo Buckley Stadium is because almost all of them play there. Midway taking on Harker Heights tonight. That's at 7:30. Lake Belton taking on Leander Rouse tonight. That game is at 7 o'clock. Your Waco High Lions, who have done pretty good over the last couple weeks, man. This Waco High team is starting to catch a little bit of a rhythm. They're taking on San Angelo tonight at 7 o'clock. So make sure you guys are getting ready for that game as Waco High coming in 2-2 record. They got a win over Cleburne and Corsicana. Dropped their last game last week against Navasota. So looking to get back in the win column against San Angelo Central here tonight. Cuero is traveling to Belton. Belton's still looking to get into the win column. So that game is at 7 o'clock. Hillsboro will be taking on Robinson. Robinson with a huge win last week. They're trying to keep that momentum going as right before they get into this tough district schedule with Robinson and La Vega and China Spring and Conley. I mean, this is the premier football district in the greater Waco area, to me, at least, is in 4A Division II with all of those schools. A lot of good schools in that division. Brownwood taking on China Spring. Now, China Spring is 1-3 so far on the season. Yes, they're not as good as they've been in the last couple of years, but this is still a good team. They played a tough pre-district schedule. They went up to Springtown last week and got beat. Springtown is a tough team, and that's a tough place to play. I've been to that Springtown Stadium a few times. The Porcupines get loud out there. That's what they're called, this Porcupine Stadium out there in Springtown. That was a tough place to play, but against this Brownwood team, Brownwood a good team that just got beat down by La Vega last week. They're looking to get back in the win column. China Spring looking to get back in the win column. That is going to be a good one. China Spring's at home. That game is at 7:30. Gatesville taking on Burnett at 7:30. Athens taking on Conley. Conley lost a tough one last week playing against Alvarado. And Conley has been playing great so far this season. And Conley is going to be playing China Spring next week. So both of these teams are going to want to come in with some momentum to that game as they've got a tough game to kick off district play. As Conley will be taking on China Spring. That's next week. Tonight they got Athens. That game is at 7 o'clock. West is traveling or is going to be playing against Marlin right here at WISD Stadium down the street from the studio. West versus Marlin. That game is at 7 o'clock. So they'll be kicking off in just a few minutes. Marlin It's doing a good job down there west. Another good program in this greater Waco, Central Texas area. Academy, it's going to Whitney. This Whitney team is good. Like I said, if you've been watching the show with us on Fridays, we talk about this Whitney team. They got some guys over there that can really play for Whitney. They're taking on Academy today. Cameron, the Yeoman, traveling to Mahia as they take on Mahia tonight at 7:30. Grosbeck, another one of these teams we talk about in this Central Texas area that's got some great athletes. Grosbeck taking on Rockdale. Their running back / receiver Jordan Smith is a stud, one of the best players in the Central Texas area, and their quarterback has been having a great season as well. Troy taking on Maypearl. That game's at 7:30. Teague and Bullard, another 7:30 matchup. Fairfield and McGregor are going to match up against each other at 7:30. Clifton and Blooming Grove will be taking each other on. Itasca and Bosqueville will play tonight. And Valley Mills and Italy will also play tonight. So, folks, a lot of great games going on around the Central Texas area tonight. Can't wait to be able to catch some of these games. But right here on 94.5 FM and Infinity Sports Radio and also Centex Sports Network, you can catch La Vega versus Stephenville. That game is coming up at 7 o'clock. The pregame show is getting ready to start, folks. So make sure you stay tuned and are getting ready for that as we're about to switch over and get ready for the pregame show. Want to thank everybody that's been watching with me, not only today, but all week long that's been watching and listening. If you want to watch this content weekdays 5 to 7, you can go right over to YouTube, Centex Sports Network, or Centex Sports TV on YouTube and watch this. You can also watch on Facebook at Centex Sports Network as well. If you want to be able to listen to this content, whether you're at home or just getting off work like some of you guys are now, or at work, you can download the app Centex Sports One and be able to listen to this content weekdays 5 to 7 right here on Centex Prime Time. Once again, thank all of you guys for watching with me. A lot of good games coming up this weekend. We talked about the NFL games in hour number 1, so you can go back and listen to that. We talked about some high school football here just a minute ago, and we talked about college football yesterday as well. Great games coming up this weekend. Oklahoma State versus Kansas State, Big 12 game. BYU versus Baylor. That game's at 11 o'clock right here. BYU undefeated. Baylor looking to get back in the win column. Georgia versus Alabama is the premier game this weekend. Colorado's got a tough test as they go to UCF to take on UCF this weekend as well. So we'll have a lot to talk about on Monday, folks. So get ready for that. But I'm getting ready to sign off here today. Everyone have a great weekend, and we will see you guys next time right here on Centex Prime Time. Get ready for La Vega versus Stephenville coming up.